Hi class, today we're going to finish up that 8.4 trigonometry, day 2, and our objectives today are the same as they were yesterday, especially this time though we're going to be focusing on this use trigonometric ratios to find angle measures in right triangles. That's going to be our focus today when we get to the back side of notes, so pay attention for that. Alright, so just remember our SOHCAHTOA from yesterday. Sine is opposite over hypotenuse. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, and tangent is opposite over adjacent. All right, so let's start off here. It says find sine of A, cosine of A, and tangent of A. Well, if we're going to be looking at angle A as our reference point, let's just go ahead and label each of the sides. So 20 is across from our 90-degree angle, so therefore that's our hypotenuse. 12 is across from our angle A, and so that one's our opposite, and 16 is right next to, so that's our adjacent. All right, so sine of A, sine, remember, is opposite over hypotenuse, so we have 12 over 20, and if we reduce that, because we can, that's going to give us 3 over 5. Both of them are divisible by 4, and as a decimal, that will be 0.6. All right, you take a moment, pause the video, and go ahead and finish cosine and tangent, and we'll come back and I'll have that for you. All right, check your answers with mine, see if you got the same. Great. All right, so the next few problems are just going to be a little bit of review for us. So it says find BC. Well, BC doesn't have a label for its side, so let's just label that X. All right, we have our angle here, angle A, which is 64 degrees, and across from it is our X. That's our opposite. And right next to it is our 13, which is our adjacent. So thinking about SOHCAHTOA, we want to decide what are we going to be doing? Sine, cosine, or tangent? Well, we have opposite and adjacent, so that is going to give us tangent. So we are going to do the tangent of our angle 64 equals our opposite over our adjacent. All right, so we want to get the x by itself, so we got to get rid of that 13. It is a divide by 13, so we're going to times by 13. If we do it to one side, we must do it to the other side. So that's going to give us x equals 13 times the tangent of 64. So let's go ahead and pull out our calculator. And we are going to do 13 times the tangent over to tangent of 64. Don't forget, make sure your calculator is in degrees, not in radians. And if we round that to one decimal place, we're going to end up with x equaling 26.7 meters. Don't forget that label. Okay, here's another one. We have angle 47, and we need to find x. And in relationship to 47, x is our adjacent, and 19 is our opposite. Opposite and adjacent, again, that's going to pull us out to tangent. So we're going to have tangent of 47 equals our opposite over our adjacent. Now this time x is the denominator, so we want to get rid of that divide by x. So we're going to times by x on both sides. And now we have x times the tangent of 47 equals 19. We still don't have x quite by itself. So if we divide both sides by the tangent of 47, that's going to cancel, and we have x equals 19 divided by the tangent of 47. Go ahead and pull your calculator up for that. 19 divided by the tangent of 47. And we end up with x equaling 17.7, and here we also have a label of meters. Now notice when x is in the denominator, the tangent and the x end up just switching spots. And that's going to work for no matter what trig function that you have. So keep that in mind. When x is in the denominator, you're just going to switch the trig function and the variable. All right, find x. So angle 61, we have our opposite. And this time x is right across from that 90-degree angle, so we have our adjacent. So let's get this set up. Opposite and adjacent. Again, oops, not adjacent. X is across from the 90-degree angle. That's our hypotenuse. Excuse my mistake. Opposite and hypotenuse, we're going to do sine. Sine of 61 equals our opposite over our hypotenuse. X is in the denominator, so go ahead. This is just like the last problem we did. Finish that up, and we'll look at that when we get to class. And let's go to the back side of our notes. To find a missing angle, you will use the inverse sine, the inverse cosine, or the inverse tangent. That's these buttons right here. And when you're looking for it on your calculator, it's probably going to be right above the button. If you're using a regular scientific calculator, use the second button, and that's going to pull those functions up. All right, find the measure of angle A. So I'm going to throw an X in there because we don't have a variable. We are given our opposite and our hypotenuse. So opposite and hypotenuse, that tells us we're going to use sine. So the sine of x, because x is our angle, equals, now I'm going to leave a little space there, opposite over hypotenuse. Now at the first problem we did today, those ones were finding us those fractions, but that was the sine of x and the cosine of x and the tangent of x. Here we want x by itself, so we need to undo that sign. So just like addition and subtraction are opposites, and multiplication and division are opposites, and squaring and square roots are opposites, sine and inverse sine are opposites. And so if you do it to that side, that's going to cancel there. But you can't just do it to one side. You've got to do it to the other side. So we get x equals the inverse sine of 18 divided by 27. Make sure when you're typing this into your calculator that the whole 18 divided by 27 is in the parentheses. So this time we're going to have inverse sine, 18 divided by 27, close off my parentheses, and we get x equaling 41.8. And now if we think about a label, we were asked for an angle, so our label is degrees. Let's take a look at number 6. It says find the measure of angle T. Well, T, let's put an X in there. We have our opposite and our adjacent. So that's going to mean we're going to use tangent of x equals, remember, we'll leave a little space, 8 over 12. Well, sine and inverse sine are opposites, so tangent and inverse tangent are opposites. So we get x equaling the inverse tangent of 8 divided by 12. Go ahead and finish that off. Don't forget to label your angle in degrees. Last one here. Here, this problem, it says find all the missing parts of the triangle. Well, we are missing a side, FH. We are missing angle F and angle G. Well, if we look here, we have two sides, and so that's going to help us find the third side by doing Pythagorean theorem. All right, if we want to find angle F, we can see here that we have our opposite and we have our hypotenuse. So if we have opposite and hypotenuse, we're going to be doing sine. But since we're finding an angle, we're going to do inverse sine of our opposite and our hypotenuse. When we get angle F, we can find angle G in two ways. One, you can do a trig function, or two, we know that all three angles are going to add up to 180. So take 180 minus the 90 degree minus angle F, and what's left is going to equal that angle G. So go ahead, finish that off, and we will see you guys later. Have a good day.